Right, welcome to Sunday's Premier League show. A complete roundup. We've got 5 matches that were played on Sunday. I actually saw 2 in their entirety and 3 others on highlights. So let's get started. And the opening encounter was at St Mary's. Southampton flying high. At home to bottom of the table Sheffield United. Quick look at the team. Quite a few changes for Sheffield United, but significantly Jagielka, the veteran, making his first appearance of the season at the back for the Blades, and Sharp also, the club captain, in up front. With McGoldrick on the bench, Sharp alongside McBurney. For Saints, Walcott retained, Redmond on the bench for Southampton, and I think Ings was back after a slight knock that had put him out for one game, so he's restored alongside Adams, and Ginepri on the bench. So away we went, and I must admit I enjoyed this game. It was a fairly competitive encounter in the first half. Westergaard found Walcott early on, and he was so nippy. He didn't beat the offside trap. So, but he looked dangerous. 15 minutes, Ramsdale had to be alert to block an effort from Danny Ings. 19 minutes, Vestergaard again, a header from a Ward-Prowse cross, but it was just wide of Ramsdale's goal. And certainly by the half hour, Saints were starting to get on top. 31 minutes, an opportunity for Fleck, and he fed Berger, but his effort was well wide. And then 3 minutes later, the opening goal. It was a bit of a messy one, to be frank. The Blades failed to clear a Ward-Prowse free kick. Amadou was particularly at fault as the ball bobbled to Adams, who stuck a foot out and forced it over the net, over the line into the net. And so that was the opening goal for Saints, 1-0. And they held that lead to the break. So half-time 1-0. Second half, Wildy certainly gave them a kick up the pants, the Blades, because they were much more on the front foot early in the second half. 51 minutes, Egan headed over a flat corner. He should have done better, really. But then on 61 minutes, on the counter-attack, Ings was involved, and he got his pass away to Armstrong, whose shot was deflected off Jagielka past Ramsdale. Absolutely no hope for the keeper on that one. And so Saints were now in the comfort zone. They were up 2-0. Ward-Prowse whipped a free kick just over on 68. And Ramsdale had to be alert again for Ings on 79. Hasenhüttl rang the changes, and Redmond came on, and virtually within a minute he'd made a difference. He came in from the left after some good lead up by Romeu, and he shot the ball into the corner, and that was it. That was 3-0 to Southampton. A very forlorn Blades for the last sort of few minutes, but they looked well beaten at the final whistle. For Southampton, they are now in 4th place in the league, and this team look every bit as good as they look. They're a solid outfit, and who can really let's just put it in perspective. I'm trying to find my words here, as it's not long ago, and we're talking about a year, that they were on the end of a 9-0 hammering by Leicester. So Hasenhüttl, he's got a lot to be proud of. So final score at St Mary's then was Southampton 3, Sheffield United 0. So second match-up was a much anticipated London derby. Crystal Palace at home to high-flying Tottenham at the top of the pile still after Saturday's matches. Team news, well, of course, Tottenham had played in the Europa League, so there were a number of changes. Ndombele was back. Dele Alli on the bench. Gareth Bale, he's sick, so he wasn't included. And Winks wasn't on the bench either. Lo Celso on the bench. Spurs basically at full strength. The guy from Wolves, he was on the bench as well. Aurelio seems to have reclaimed that right back slot. And Regnier on the left has also been impressive. That was the Spurs team. For Palace, Ayew is now on the bench. Benteke's recent good form is keeping him out. Townsend is also on the bench. And Eze, of course, he's their new star. He was in midfield. Zaha scoring the goals this time. And Mihajlovic back in at midfield. And Redevard on the bench. So I think I've just about covered all the team news. Let's get on to the action. And it was, just before we get started, I was touched by the lovely embrace between the two managers prior to kick-off between Hodgson and Mourinho. It looked a very genuine affection shared by them. 6 minutes, Eze managed to feed Zaha and linking well with him. And that was an instance of something we saw quite frequently throughout the game. Great through ball though on 9 minutes to Son, but this time the Korean was well wide of the target. A snapshot from Zaha on 13 minutes, and linking with Benteke, who seems to have got some confidence into his game. But Lloris was strong. On 15 minutes, a lovely pass from Eze, right on Zaha's toe, from 30 yards that pass, but his shot was high and wide. Guaita had to be alert on 17 minutes, denying Ndombele, who had a shot in the box. And then a sweet strike from Reguilón was fingertipped over by as mentioned, Guaita. And 34 minutes, another great save, this time from a Kane header. So it was with some surprise that a snapshot from Kane was too much for the Palace keeper, who seemed to misjudge the flight, and it whistled past him into the net, and so Spurs had taken the lead. They probably just edged that first half, but they were also in the habit of bringing Zaha down at every opportunity. And on 37 minutes, Sissoko brought him down, but Van Aanholt's shot was pretty disappointing. And then just before the break, Eze again with a snapshot. This time he hit the post, but there was nobody backing up, and so it went clear. So that was the state at the break, with Spurs edging it by 1-0. So second half action then. First 15 minutes really, it lacked any goal-mile incident. It gone off the boil a bit, but at 18 minutes Benteke got his head to a free kick, and Slup was on the end of it, but he scuffed his shot and it went wide. But Palace were definitely getting the lion's share of possession, and seemingly Spurs were sort of on the back foot a little bit, seemed to be content with what they got. Lo Celso came off the bench and then his free kick found Dyer, whose glancing header just went wide. That was on 72 minutes. Benteke Benteke again on 77 from a corner headed over, and Lloris had to be sharp on 79 again from a header by the Belgium. 80-minute Eze, a free kick, and what a delightful one it was. It was curled into the box, and Lloris got into a muddle and spilt it on his toes, and Sluk was there to bundle it across the line. And so Palace got that equaliser to make it 1-1. Ironically, the last time these two played at Selhurst Park, which ended in a 1-1 draw, the scorers were Kane and Sluk. 85 minutes, a couple of incidents involving Spurs. Oreo had an opportunity, got it to Kane, great save from Guaita, and he was responsible for thwarting the second effort as well. In fact, apart from that slip in the first half, he had a great game, and he denied Dyer at the death as well, whose strike was heading for goal. So that was about it. Full time arrived. Honours even. It's probably just about right. What I liked about this game was that there seems to be an absence of yellow cards, which was refreshing after some earlier matches this weekend. So final score at Selhurst Park, Crystal Palace 1, Spurs 1. So next up, this is one of the 3 games that I saw brief highlights from. Craven Cottage, Fulham at home to Liverpool. Loftus-Cheek in for the start for Fulham, but they were without their ace striker Mitrovic. He's out injured. For the Reds, Alexander Arnold back at right back. Jones started in midfield. Diogo Jota apparently is now injured and going to be out until the new year. But they did have Oxlade-Chamberlain back on the bench. He's been out injured for some time. Alisson back in goal as well for Liverpool. And he had to be alert because Loftus-Cheek fed Carvalho on 3 minutes, and I've got something in my eye, and Alisson pushed the effort away. And the same two were involved on minute 13, and again Alisson strong. But there was a suggestion that in the build-up, Fabinho may have fouled Lookman, but it was waved away after VAR had a look at it. Lookman on 24 minutes though had a shot which again brought the best out of Alisson. So you're getting a picture. Fulham very much in the driving seat, in control of this one. We hadn't seen anything of the front men for Liverpool, the 3 danger men, Salah, Firmino and Mane. And on 24 minutes, Cordova-Reid hit a peach of a shot from distance, whistled past Alisson and gave Fulham the lead. And they were well deserved of that lead. Another terrific save from Alisson on 31 minutes. And then the first real opportunity for Liverpool on 39, and Mane's header was from a Jones cross, was just over the bar. So basically got to the break, and a deserving 1-0 lead for Fulham. Second half, Liverpool obviously got better. Salah struck Aurelio, and the keeper, a brave save on 60 minutes, denied Henderson from about 8 yards. That was a gilt-edged chance for the Liverpool captain. 77 minutes, Wijnaldum, get it right, struck a free kick, and there was a handball in the wall, and it looked pretty clear cut. Mo Salah stepped up and converted. That was the equaliser. The last 5 or so minutes, Fulham were hanging on, but they had really done well in this fixture. and thoroughly deserved their draw. Full-time score at Craven Cottage: Fulham 1, Liverpool 1. So to the Emirates then, Arsenal at home to Burnley. Arsenal's form is woeful at the moment, and of course Burnley are second or third from bottom. I didn't see a lot of this game, and there wasn't a lot to get worked up about. Wood had a free header, went just wide from a Brady cross on 13 minutes. It has to be said that the Arsenal front line, even with Lacazette and Aubameyang, looked extremely tame, and we didn't really see a clear cut effort from them throughout the 90 minutes. However, Aubameyang did get on the score sheet on 72 minutes, turning in a westward corner into his own net. Leno sort of flat-footed on that. Burnley got the lead and they held on to it. Not much to say about this other than the fact that Arteta's got some serious problems with this side. They seem to completely lack any confidence in the league. Their results have been getting worse and worse and worse. Sean Dyche, on the other hand, relieved to get a win, and that's probably taken them out of the bottom three. So final score then at the Emirates: Arsenal 0, Burnley 1. The fifth match on this Sunday, the final match of week 12, was at the King Power Stadium in Leicester at home to Brighton. And Ndidi was in for Mendy in midfield. Maddison now well restored from the start, alongside Vardy and Perez. Barnes, Iniacho, and the other guy, and I can't remember his name. Barnes, Iniacho are on the bench with Pratt for the Foxes. For Brighton, Jakenbach was in, and Trossard on the bench. This game really took a bit of while to get going. The first 20 odd minutes, it has to be said, Brighton were doing most of the attacking and were a little bit unlucky. Some saves from Schmeichel on 5 minutes and another one on 8 minutes denied Welbeck, and they were looking very strong early on, Brighton, but then it all started to go wrong. At 25 minutes, the first chance for Vardy, and he hit a post from an extremely tight angle after Tielemans set him up. And then a minute later, the Justin on the right, his cross found its way to Maddison on the edge of the box, and he managed to deliver a shot on target, and it was helped in by the defence. 1-0 to the Foxes. 29 minutes. Justin fires in a cross. Perez, his header should have hit the net really, but Ryan did enough to tip it wide. But on 40 minutes, an extremely quick break down the right, Justin's cross, and Vardy managed to get in front of the defenders, as he usually does, clipped the ball wide of the keeper. VAR had a look at it for an offside, but it wasn't given, and Leicester were 2 up. And 3 minutes later, a great individual effort by Maddison, a left foot strike, bent round the defenders and inside Ryan's post, gave a 3-0 scoreline to Leicester. I didn't really see anything of the second half. The highlights seemed cut dead at the half-time break, but that was how it finished anyway. Rodgers delighted. Leicester up to third now. Full-time score, Leicester City 3, Brighton 0. So that concludes week 12. I want to get this to you quickly because we've got a midweek programme in the Barclays Premier League this week. So there'll be matches on Tuesday and Wednesday in match day 13. But to conclude match day 12, it's mainly as it was. Spurs still on top, ahead on goal difference from Liverpool. Leicester are now closer to them in third, with Southampton now into fourth. moving Chelsea back to 5th. The Manchester clubs are within reach, but they aren't sparkling at all. Sheffield United are really in dire straits now. 11 defeats and just 1 point. So that's my lot from this roundup. I'll see you on Wednesday, the roundup of Tuesday's matches.